Wow, it's like what Mike just said. Because this is gonna be in the trailer. Like, no, we got something for you.
He's swiping during the. I love it.
Okay.
Wow, you
That was
suck.
awful.
That was horrible.
Yeah, it smashed eventually.
Do accents. Don't do face paint.
Jump sucker. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Go Pro Wrestling's Conversations. I am Noel DiMaggio. I am joined by Big Frank, and the man of the hour is our five-tool player, Anthony Bowens. Anthony, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
No problem at all, man.
Frank, why don't you start it off today?
Well, I have a few questions. Okay. So, I'm fat and out of shape. So more important than anything else for me is what is your workout routine? Because I've seen your pictures in magazines and like, holy shit.
I don't really do anything crazy. I just show up basically and kind of feel out what I want to do.
So you're saying the key to it is actually going to the gym?
Yes, you do have to get up out of bed, hop in the car, drive a little bit to the gym,
That's kind of
put in a little effort.
Well, since I work in a kitchen, I'll go with the other side of that. What is your eating regimen like?
Also, I don't have anything specific for that. I just kind of, it's whatever I want to eat. I'm a big Chipotle guy.
Okay.
I just had Chipotle before I came here. I probably have too much sweets. I think the diet is my biggest weakness. If the five-tool player has one, it would be his diet.
You never wanted to go Qdoba?
It depends on my mood, but Chipotle is where it's at.
Chipotle has its heart. That's cool. So where did the five-tool player moniker come from?
That was a collaborative effort between myself and KC Navarro. So basically, I guess if people don't know, I mentored KC since he was like 15 years old. So we usually would have wrestling conversations, live conversations, but we happened to be on FaceTime and we were doing like a tape study. And I was trying to figure out a new gimmick because I've been doing the Power Ranger thing for like 2.5 years, which was topical once the movie came out. And I really felt like the character lacked depth. And that wasn't my intention because when I first did it, I wanted it to be this representation of a cartoon form of me, where I'm just this kind of normal person, but you know, when the evil space aliens come down or when I step in the ring, I would morph to become something greater and then become a kick-ass superhero.
You could have kept exploring all the Power Ranger characters.
I could have, but it's just I didn't put enough effort in, and then by the time I really found myself with the gear and everything, I think it had run its course. So I was trying to find something that fit me, was more real life, and I wanted something that encompassed everything I did in the ring and outside the ring. So back to FaceTiming, we were watching one of my matches, and KC heard one of the announcers say, I think it was Joe Kim from Battle Club Pro. He's like, "Oh, Bowens is Battle Club's five-tool player," and KC was like, "Oh, that's it? Like you're a former baseball player? You're a five-tool player?" And I was like, "Holy shit!" Like that's I don't know why I didn't see that before.
Now, for some of those that are watching, they have no idea what five-tool player actually means in baseball.
So five-tool player is a baseball reference to. It's basically a baseball superstar. He has every tool needed. To be one. He hits with power for average, he can throw, run, and field. So I'm wrestling's version of the five-tool player. And I think it all just fit naturally. I played baseball for 11 years. I fancied myself a really good professional wrestler and a really good sports entertainer.
Speaking of sports entertainer, I've heard you've been doing some improv classes you were telling us the other day.
Yes,
How's that
so
going?
I took the second level of UCB Improv, and it's challenging, it's fun. It's weird for me, it's out of my comfort zone because for some reason when I'm on a stage and there's people in front of me, I'm completely comfortable. But if it's just a room with 10 people who are your classmates, even maybe something like this, but there's like 10 people here, I'm like, I get really jittery and uncomfortable. But I think I worked through it, and then we had the show a couple days ago on Saturday, and I killed it.
Nice.
Is that where you're trying to like build your empire, basically? Like, you're trying to be an actor, you're trying to be a model, you're trying to be a wrestler.
I'm trying to hit every form of entertainment possible to see.
Why is that?
Multiple reasons. One, to see if I can do it. Like, if I get an idea in my head, I have to do something about it until it like materializes. So I was sitting on, so I was like, I want to be on the cover of a magazine, and I figured out a way to do it within a couple of months. I just get these plans in my head.
Yeah, that's our next mission.
Me and Frank on the cover of a magazine. A couple of months. Wait
You
for it.
heard it here first on GoPro Wrestling.
Frank's just got to do something about the can ring on his forehead now.
I smashed the camera can on my head.
Oh, no. They're going to see. We're going to edit that in. Don't worry.
Oh, okay.
Wow, you
That was
suck.
awful.
That was horrible.
Yeah, it smashed eventually.
Well, that was reason one. Reason two was I had a tryout with WWE back in 2015 at this point, and at the end of it they said, hey, like, you have 4 of the 5 things we need to. Oh, there you go. 5-tool player. You have 4 of the 5 things that we need to make you a superstar, but it just seems like your personality is like reserved. And one of the other lines that they said was, we're not a wrestling company anymore, we're an entertainment company. And that didn't click with me until I think I saw the hiring class. And there's a lot of great talent in that class, and I was trying to figure out why wasn't I in that picture. And then that one line stood out to me. I was like, oh, like, I presented to them a really good professional wrestler for however long I've been doing it at the time, like a year and a half. But I didn't really give them anything that they can make money off of. Like, how can people sink their teeth into me or my story? So once I figured that part out, I was like, I need to do everything I can to make myself a well-rounded performer.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really interesting. I mean, I've never really heard of anyone like going completely out of wrestling to like start acting, basically, to like improve themselves. But that's really like smart idea that I think probably a lot more people should do. I mean, isn't it crazy that you were training for a year basically before you got a tryout? I mean, that doesn't really happen that often.
No.
It's pretty
I'll
impressive.
float my own boat here. I hate talking about myself, but I'll put myself
Well, that's
over.
what you're here for. Yeah. We want you to talk about yourself today.
But yeah, I don't really see it too often. I mean, there are people who get opportunities who don't have any wrestling experience. They just happen to be seen off the street or something like that.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it, but it's cool. It's cool.
Some people just get picked up, and other people it takes forever. But I was lucky enough to be. Actually, that story was pretty crazy, and I've never really told it publicly. But maybe I will.
Would you?
Do you want the long story, or do you want the slightly condensed?
Hit us with details, man. We like it.
Okay, so this was 2014. 2014? Yeah, 2014. So it was my first experience as a extra.
Okay.
So it was like a 4-day loop. It was myself. Well, actually, I was booked for the first 2 house shows to be a Rosebud, and then the rest of the loop was with like McIntosh, Chris Payne, and Damian Gibbs. So I was nervous as hell because I was the only one going by myself on Friday. That was down in Trenton, and it went well. So then the next day was in Allentown, and when you're an extra, they send you an email, and it has like a list of rules of what you can do and like what not to do and like general directions and stuff. And it was like, don't arrive to the building more than an hour early, don't go near the ring, all these kinds of things. So I decided to leave early to get to Allentown, and I get to the building an hour early. So I'm crapping my pants. I go hide in the locker room, but then I have to pee. But in my head, even though I was like, nobody cares, in my head I was like, oh my God, if I leave this locker room, somebody sees me, like I'm gonna get so much heat. So I'm like holding my pee in, and I couldn't do it anymore. So I tried to sneak out and go to the bathroom, and in walks Titus O'Neil, who I had like a conversation with the night before, and he was like, hey buddy, blah, 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 you wanna go work out down by the ring? And then I remembered rule 2 was like, don't go near the ring. So I'm like, sure, let's do it. So I go to the locker room, I get changed, I head down the ringside, and I was like, can I go in the ring? He was like, yeah, sure. Boom. So I'm standing in the ring, I'm like, wow, this is cool, first time in WWE, I'm in the ring, we're chit-chatting. And then Arn Anderson comes walking down, he's like, son, have you had a WWE physical at all? And I was like, no. He goes, get out. He kicked me out of the ring. And he said, go find a doctor and just get a physical or something like that. So I was running around the building, also not knowing that nobody gets there until like 5, 6 a.m. for a house show. So it was a failure. So I snuck back down by the ring just to kind of listen to what Arn was saying because he was teaching the classes. And then he disappeared and came back in 10 minutes. And he was like, you know, have you had any doctor's physical at all? And I was like, yes, which was a lie. And he said, okay, cool, get in the ring, start stretching. So I'm just stretching, I'm just looking around. He starts asking me a bunch of questions. And then I noticed like most of the roster was around the ring. And then he goes, all right, everybody clear the ring. Titus, you're going to try out Anthony right now in a 5-minute match. And I'm like I was expecting to come here and be Rosebud. Now I'm getting a tryout match at a house show before, like in front of the boys.
By breaking the rules.
By breaking the rules.
Moral of the story.
So I'm like shitting my pants, and we start the match, and it's going well, and then I end up busting my lip a bit, and then Arn stops the match, so I can't have blood everywhere. And he goes, one more thing, Titus is 6'5" or 6'6" or what have you. Can you drop kick him in the face? So I was like, yeah, sure. What the hell? We ran a spot. I drop kicked him twice, flush in the face, and I see him and Scott Armstrong go, well, that's all we needed to see. He pulled me aside. He's like, you deserve a tryout out of that. You were doing things in there that a lot of people don't do, like who've been here for 10 years. It's like,
wow.
Like what? Oh, like shit. What did I do? And it was just like little simple things that, like Pat would drill into us at training, which shows you how important like the little things are. And I was like, wow, like this is absolutely crazy. Then the following night, which was Raw at Barclays, again, I had to go to the bathroom, so I'm like waiting. And then Payne comes running in. He's like, Bowens, like Arn is looking for you. So I'm like, oh God. And then an attendant brings me down to ringside where Arn's sitting there at the announce table. And I'm like, hey, Mr. Anderson, how are you? And he goes, oh, I just wanted to check in with you and introduce you to some of my friends. I'm like, okay, cool. So he brings me around to the other side. And he goes, Anthony, this is Michael Hayes, this is Road Dogg, and this is Triple H. And I'm like, hey. And we,
normal reaction.
Yeah, just like, what's happening?
Yeah.
Then we had like a 5-minute conversation, and my mind was blown. I went back to the locker room, and I was like texting Pat. I was like, am I getting signed? I just got introduced to like the owner of the company, basically. And then the following night, myself and Damian Gibbs had one like the typical matches before SmackDown, and we killed it in front of Coach Regal, and he took a liking to me, and then we just kept in touch, and then I got the tryout in March.
And I mean, I actually went and watched your match against AOP, and I wrote in my note.
Oh, that's a different one.
Ouch. Like that collider was nuts. How did that feel? It looked rough.
I think a lot of people gave them flack for that entire thing, but I don't think it was anybody's fault. I think it was like a freak accident, because I watched it a lot of times, over and over and over again. And what I think happened there was, this wasn't the tryout, by the way, this was something completely different. Right. They did the Super Collider, I got powerbombed, and then a wrestler's natural instinct when he's falling, especially in a powerbomb position, is to smack your arms out for like breaking the fall. What I think happened was, as he was coming down, he came down safely on my chest, but as he was trying to break his fall, his elbow caught me someplace in the face, and then I was knocked out.
Wow, you were actually out.
Yeah, I was completely unconscious, and then I woke up as they were about to give me the, what's their finish? The Russian leg sweep clothesline thing?
The closing chapter, I forgot what it is. Bookend, some shit.
Yeah, they're about to hit their finish on me, and I kind of woke up, and I was like, and then luckily Bandito Jr., Eddie, who was reffing, was like, he called the match completely. And then I blacked out again. I don't remember the promo. And then I woke up to the doctor over me, and I got carried to the back.
And that wasn't even like the first time you were there. That was the second time, or?
That was the third thing I've done with NXT. I did the first live tryout in Ohio, the Arnold Classic, and then the 3-day tryout at the PC, and then that was kind of just like extra work with NXT.
It's still really fucking cool.
Yeah, it's fun.
So now, besides NXT, WWE, you've worked with Global Force,
Global Force, and Impact.
Impact, Wrestle Pro.
Wrestle Pro.
Who else in the area? Who else outside of the area?
Wrestle Pro, Battle Club Pro, Monster Factory, Beyond Wrestling, XWA, multiple places. A lot of places. I think I'm hitting 40.
What's the furthest you traveled?
England. I did
Wow.
a 2-week tour of England in January of 2016, and that was probably one of the most fun experiences of my entire life because it was just I had 1 day to sightsee, and then 2 weeks of literally every single night. It was wake up, get food, you get a quick lift, drive 3 hours somewhere across the country. It was like all different parts of the country. Put the ring up, wrestle, break it down, drive back, do it all over again. And it was so much fun.
What company was that for?
That was LDN Wrestling.
Another LDN.
Well, actually, I'm going to put myself over again. Everybody who's gone to LDN from this area, you're welcome. From the 5-tool player, Anthony Bowens. Because I started all that.
Nice.
So tell us about training with Wrestle Pro. Like how, I mean, it's led you to a lot of things. You've learned a lot of good stuff from Pat. So how did that start, first of all, and how have you benefited from it?
Let's backtrack that a little. How did you start wrestling? Who did you start with, training wise, and all that?
Another crazy story. So,
We love crazy stories.
We love stories.
so I was trying to figure out where to be or how to become a professional wrestler and where to go. I was going to go to Lance's place. I was going to go to Dudley's. FCW at the time. Or was Dudley's around? Maybe it was just FCW because I saw like they were doing a tryout or something. But none of that was like financially viable. So when WWE's in the area, they go to the gym I go to in Belleville. So like
What gym?
And I was in college at the time, so I emailed all my professors. I was like, I'm sick, can't come in today. So I went in and I walked in, the entire roster was there, and I just started, respectfully taking pictures with them. And the last person that was there was Santino Marella, and he was doing abs, and I wasn't going to bother him, but then I was like, when am I ever going to have the opportunity to meet these people again? So I went up to him, was like, hey, can I have a photo? I don't want to cause a scene or anything. He goes, oh, sure, and he stayed in gimmick too, which was even funnier. And we took the photo, and as I was walking away, he was like, hey, you kind of look like a professional wrestler. Have you ever thought about becoming one? I was like, that's weird, because I've been trying to find a place to go for the last couple months or so. And he was like, wait 1 second. He pulled out his phone, and he gave me the number to Pat Buck. And then I called Pat, and knowing him, he was probably very confused as to why this random person was like spewing his heart out of how he was always wanted to become a professional wrestler.
Right.
Oh, I wish I could see his reaction. But I called him, and then I showed up to training, I'd say a couple of days later, because I was also filming a documentary for my TV3 class on professional wrestling. And I showed up to the Railway Rec Center, and I was there for 5 minutes, and I was like, this is absolutely what I want to do.
I mean, so
That's how I started.
That was what year?
2013. No, 2012. November of 2012
November 2012.
is when I first joined.
like 6 years. Wow.
I remember because it was Hurricane Sandy just hit, and the
Okay.
whole gym was like obliterated. They were just doing like chain wrestling on like amateur wrestling mats.
Wow.
Even just that, there was no ring. I was like, this is so cool.
Something different.
Yeah.
So tell us about, we were talking about the
Training?
the training.
It was rough. It still is rough. I think I'm in the best shape of my life right now, so I can handle things
I
a
can
lot
tell.
better
I can tell,
than
yeah.
I used to. I used to get blown up a lot. But it's tough. It hurts. It's grueling sometimes, but then it has its fun moments.
So a lot of people ask if it has all that downside to it. It hurts. It's painful. It's makes you sore and everything. Why do you do it?
You love it, and I think we're also all kind of psychotic in a very small way. We're all nuts. It's just too much fun not to do. Honestly, like every match that I have, I love pro wrestling, but I get 3/4 of the way through, and I'm just tired and beat up, and I'm like, why am I doing this? But then I get the reaction we want. I'm like, yes, this is
That's
the
why I
reason
do it.
Yeah.
No, that's amazing. I mean, and then have you? I mean, we're going to talk about it eventually. You came out know that. Have you felt more in touch with the audience since then?
Yeah, 100%. Because I think once, maybe not immediately after, but in the as time rolled on, I felt more and more comfortable, obviously in my own skin. But I think that also plays into obviously who you are as a character in the ring, and just subconsciously being able to just let loose in front of an audience. And I think that's helped immensely.
I mean, because like you're in great shape and I'm not in great shape, so I feel like you're more of a person because it's like a real person.
Stop putting
so I'm
yourself
like,
down.
listen, I am fat. I used to be in shape when I played football. I'm fat. Look at this. But like, so a normal guy like me who's not in shape sees you and it's like, wow, like he's perfect. And then you find out that you have like these things that you've been hiding, you know, and like it makes it easier for me to connect to you, you know what I mean? Like that's a cool thing. So like,
everybody has
appreciate
like,
that.
no matter how happy they look or anything, there usually is something that's bothering them.
Since you're laughing, you want me to show it? I used to be in shape, man. Have you seen his magazine covers? Are you joking? Are you joking? Like I was looking at his magazine covers today at work, and the girls that sit next to me, they were like, "Holy shit!"
Oh my god.
I was like, no one gives me that reaction. Yeah, that's cool.
That's funny.
I'm crying.
That's a reason.
Fix your mic.
That's a reason to go to the gym right there, man. It sucks.
Oh god.
I gotta stop eating Taco Bell, which I'm getting after this.
So am I.
Yeah.
Oh god, it hurts.
I do this for the trailer, you know what I mean? If you wanted a good trailer, bring me in.
This is totally going in the beginning.
Can't wait.
That's hilarious.
I have no problem. Listen, I'm cool, man. I'll tell him he's hot. It's cool. Whatever. I have no problem telling him.
Oh my.
Thank you.
Sam, can we get some makeup to do the can over his head?
Nah. I need to commit to being in pain if I want to train.
Oh
I gotta start training for wrestling, you know what I mean?
Oh man. All right.
So back.
Okay. Let's back on track.
You're welcome You're welcome for a fantastic trailer. Anyways, so before you got into actually training for wrestling, you were a fan.
Yes.
Who were your like biggest influences? Who were your heroes, basically?
The first person I got into was Sting. That was in 90.
Face paint?
Crow Sting.
The Crow Sting, or like the
Surfer Sting or Crow Sting is what you were going to go for,
Yeah.
not
Crow
face paint.
Sting. I saw the vignettes. Between him and Hogan for Starrcade, and I was like, this guy's cool. I really like him. It was also kind of scary. But growing up, I think before I started paying attention more to the workers, Jeff Hardy was my big guy because he was so fearless with everything, all the stunts that he did, and I was this really shy, scrawny kid who wished he could be that. So I think Jeff was my guy. And then as time went on, guys like Jericho and Eddie Guerrero, HBK. I can't really put a finger on just one of them, but there's like a whole list of people like that.
a bunch of those guys are regarded as 5'2" players themselves. So that's a pretty good list of people.
Now, back in the day, were you one of the people that watched WWF and WCW, that you would switch
Yes.
between the channels? You would have, because I was one of those people, and I used to have two TVs going at the same time, recording one, watching the other. I was out of my mind, so I don't know how many other people were like that back in the day.
I didn't have money for that, but yeah.
I was originally a WCW guy because I guess as the Attitude Era was beginning, my dad was kind of like, just maybe not yet. So I would watch WCW a lot, and then I came home from school. I'll never forget, there was a tape on the table, WrestleMania 14. I put that in. That was like the first full WWE show I watched, and I was like, whoa, this is cool. So after that, I would go back and forth.
So you got to actually watch the formation of the NWO and everything back in
Yes.
'96, and good stuff.
Yes. So many memories. Yeah, I think that's, other than WrestleMania 17, I think 14 is my favorite Mania because that's like the most sentimental like show to me.
Where was I going? All right, so we talked about you playing baseball.
Like 8 times. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I'm used to
So
it.
we talked about you playing baseball, and you actually went to my rival college. So I wanted to I'm Willie P, man.
Oh.
Come on. Listen. So, what other sports did you play when you were growing up?
Just baseball.
Just baseball?
I started playing baseball when I was 10, and then I just played all the way through college. Started at
played
Seton
football,
Hall, and
man.
then I transferred to Montclair State.
It's a bad choice.
I never minded Willie P. I hated Kane. Whatever it is. Kane.
We had a Kane guy here. He sucks. No, I was true.
Who was that?
Mike Orlando.
Oh.
I mean, they suck.
I didn't know he went to Kane.
He's a nice guy.
Sorry, Mike. I dislike you now. You can keep that in. Sorry, Orlando.
What'd you go to school for?
TV and radio production.
And how has that helped you out now?
You
think it has?
No. I mean, kind of. I mean, if maybe in the sense of being used to being in a studio setting, so anything I do from like a print or commercial thing, I'm just kind of used to being on set anyway from college, so I think that helped there. And then I can edit my own highlight videos. I don't have to pay anybody for that. So,
Sorry, Mike.
if anything, it's that.
Sorry, Mike.
I'll show you them later. I think they're good.
I was gonna say matches. Who are some of the people you enjoy having matches with? Who are your favorite people to actually wrestle with?
Matt McIntosh comes to mind. We beat the crap out of each other all over the place. Bobby Wayward. Hate even bringing his name up. Probably another one of my favorite WrestlePro, Dan Moff. Who else?
He helped train you, I'm assuming.
Moff played a big role in my career because, I mean, Pat trained me from, the fundamentals and moves and all that kind of stuff, but Moff really instilled a sense of aggression in me and more emotion. Because I remember at a beginning match, I think it was like a tag team match, and I was like, Moff, can you watch the match and give me your thoughts? And I wanted to like impress him and make him proud. When I came back, he was just kind of like your strikes were weak. You didn't really have any force or or any kind of emotion behind it, and I felt like my heart was broken because I like disappointed a father or something. And then from then on, I just realized I just really made sure that anytime I was striking somebody, it looked vicious or it looked like I was actually taking their head off.
Some sort of conviction in it.
Yeah. So I credit Moff for that and just instilling confidence, because he was one of the first people who told me, like, you're ready to go out and start, becoming a star. And I credit him for giving me that confidence.
Wow. That's pretty cool. I was going to ask about Impact, so
Sure.
let's talk about Impact Wrestling.
Bring it. What do you want to know?
How did you end up with Impact? Is it just a WrestlePro thing, like the connection?
Yeah, I'm not with them officially. I hope maybe something will come up in the future, because obviously I would love to work for a company like that. I think I'd have a lot to offer them and to bring to the company. But that was, Impact and WrestlePro have a great working relationship, and they used myself, Sean Donovan, and Beach Bums for the TV tapings. And I got to wrestle Follow, who's one of my close friends in the business, which was very cool. I had a lot of fun.
We offered him food to come to our studio, so hopefully he comes.
He'll come.
He made the recommendation on where to go.
Yeah, we told him, come to Jersey City. He said jelly bean. So I don't know what the fuck a jelly bean is, but it's food.
Oh, I love him.
Don't laugh at me. It's cool. I wanted to keep going. Like, what?
I'm wait.
I was letting you, like,
Oh, no,
we're
no,
supposed to take turns here, but okay, cool. All right, so I want to talk about your YouTube channel, since I'm a little fucking jealous of that. You got 55,000 followers. That's pretty badass. You and your boyfriend.
It's growing by the day.
That's amazing. How have you built that empire, basically?
YouTube, as much as I want to say it's like all skill, I think has to do with a bit of luck and hitting algorithms and all this other kind of weird stuff that I really don't understand. Michael, my boyfriend Michael, and I, this was actually before I was out, we made a video called The Laughing Challenge, which I didn't want anybody to see because I was still in the closet. And that became like the first video that we did. And eventually, when I did come out, that was the video that was like embedded to all the articles that got done on me. So that kind of just drove a lot of traffic to the YouTube channel. And then we made another video called How We Met, which if I had known it was going to get over 1 million views, I would have actually put effort into it because we both look like absolute garbage. But that took off because the story was kind of like funky, and like a lot of LGBT news sites picked up on that and ran that, and then that video went everywhere, I guess viral if it got that many views. And then all of a sudden we just had an audience and we just kept pumping out videos, and now we're close to 60,000.
How often do you put videos out?
We try to do every 2 weeks. It gets tough because I'm wrestling, he does personal training, he's also doing some acting
He does
stuff.
personal training.
Yeah. Oh yeah, give him a call.
Where?
New Providence.
Where the fuck is that? I don't even know.
It's up north.
Oh,
Or west, I should say. But yeah, we have an audience now. We post twice a week.
Friends with him, so.
Go ahead.
Every 2 weeks, guys.
Every 2 weeks, we try to have videos up. Sometimes it doesn't work out that way, but most like successful YouTube channels have like a set
Consistency.
But we don't want to commit to that yet because our schedules are all over the place, and then we don't want people
So now,
cursing us off.
in the vein of crazy stories, since that seems to be the theme with you, everything's a crazy story. Crazy story on how you and your boyfriend got together?
I wouldn't say crazy, but it's different.
We'll go with it.
Okay, so I was in the closet at the time, and I would do this thing where I would go on Tinder, and I would flip it to like the guys, and then I would swipe through, but I wouldn't swipe to match. I would just swipe to see who was out there, like a creep, and I would see if there was an Instagram attached to it, because if it was, that means I didn't have to like be known that I matched with them. I could just be like a random Instagram follow. I happened to see him, followed him on Instagram, and then he posted a picture, and I was like, whoa, I have to like say something.
Tips for all you stalkers.
Well, we won't call it stalking. We're calling it detective work. All right?
I sound like such
Sounds
a creep. So I messaged him, like, hey, how are you, blah, 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 blah. We had like maybe at most 2 brief conversations. And I'm sitting at work, and I get a message on Facebook from some random kid, and he's like, yo, and I just see like 8 yos. So clearly he's trying to get my attention. So I'm like, I don't know you, like, who are you? He goes, I think you've been talking to my boyfriend. Can you stop talking to him? Now, so Michael doesn't look bad. They were on a break because this guy was very
Clingy.
abusive in a way. So like they were having very, very bad problems, and they were away from each other, so he wasn't doing anything creepy. So I'm like, oh, like I had no idea. Like there was nothing going on. I don't know you. I don't really know him. I'm not even out. Like I'm not gonna be in some weird love triangle, like of people I don't know.
Right.
I'll delete you both. So I deleted them, and then maybe like 4 months later, I get a friend request from Mike. I'm like, do I accept this? Sure. Boom. I accepted it, and then he told me everything. Like they had a separation because of the other person's behavior. They tried to see if it would work. Didn't work. He's single now, so do you want to hang out sometime? Get to know each other, blah, blah, blah. Never really happened. Then a couple months later, I was sitting around at my friend's house, and I looked around the entire campfire. All of them had their girlfriends, and I was just really lonely, a sad 5-tool player. And I was like, I gotta get out of here. So I left, and then I remembered that I was supposed to, like we were supposed to hang out sometime. So I called him, I was like, hey, would you like want to hang out and just see where it goes? And he goes, yeah, sure. It's my birthday at midnight. If you want to come down to this bar, my friends and I are hanging out. And I said, sure. And literally within 5 minutes, we hit it off, and I think we talked to like 5, 6 in the morning, just getting to know each other. Wow. And then I went home, and I was like, whoa, this is weird. It's kind of cool.
Good timing, too.
Yeah.
For his birthday. Oh, Jesus. Wow.
And that's how we met.
That was how long ago?
That was May of 2016.
May of 2016.
Yeah.
Going on almost 2.5 years now?
Something
Yeah.
long.
Next month will be 2.5 years. Time goes by fast.
Yeah.
So now we'll go back a little bit before you came out. What kind of what kind of anxiety, what kind of pressure were you feeling in life and in wrestling to eventually come out and announce it to people? And who did you tell first in wrestling?
So the only people who I'd known were, I told my best friend in 2010. He was the first person I told, and then I slowly let everybody know, my friend group, on a need-to-know basis over the years, and then my parents. So they were the only like group of people who knew. I kept it completely away from wrestling, obviously, because I didn't know how people were going to react. There wasn't really any pressure for me to come out or anything. It was just I was kind of tired of just feeling a certain way and always having to like hide things and make sure my phone wasn't visible because I might
Wrong text message.
get a wrong text message, or they'd see something that I didn't want them to see, or like coming up with like code names for people and all this kind of like crazy stuff just to avoid being known. I just got tired of it. And at the same time, I had met Michael, and then we started dating. And I always say I felt so bad because I told him like I can't say anything right now, but I promise you at some point I will say something, because it's not fair to ask somebody to be like a secret or non-existent in your life when they're so important. In a lot of ways, I still feel terrible about it, but that was also a big factor in it. And I was like, it's just time. Like I have a platform from wrestling, and I wasn't really doing anything else, I guess, back then, but I guess it was just wrestling, to like help people and kind of change things for the better. So I just made a conscious decision that when I felt the time was ready or time was right, I was just going to do it. I didn't tell my parents, I didn't tell Mike, I didn't tell anybody. I just, I saw when my next show was, 'cause I didn't want to do it and then immediately go out in front of an audience. So I waited until the show was over with, and I just did it. Actually we were at a game night, Michael and I, with a couple other couples, and I took out my phone and I typed it up. I sent it, I shut my phone off, and I threw it on the couch for like 45 minutes.
You didn't want to see the reaction.
I didn't want to know anything. I just wanted to play. And then at the same time, I also, I sent Michael a, what do we call it? Relationship request on Facebook, because I wanted to, I guess, surprise him in the process. So I was like, Mike, go turn on your phone. And he looked at it, he was like, I'll never forget him, that big smile that he had on his face when he saw it. And then we sat there and we just read all the messages, and it was all positive. There was like one thrown in there. I was like, but other than that,
social media, you got
it comes with the territory.
I was going to ask about any negative side that came out of it at all.
Honestly, no. I mean, the only negativity I got was actually from pockets of the LGBT community, because I came out as bisexual, and apparently, which I didn't know, that there's this big, like, war kind of between certain people who identify as gay or identify as bi. 'Cause it's really stupid.
Like you got to choose a side.
Yeah, it's like this doesn't exist.
Like you're not really bi, you're gay, but you're just kind of hiding it. That's why you say you're bi, and
it's
stupid.
I didn't know about any of these things, and as time goes on, I realize how many different like labels there are, and it drives me nuts how people keep trying to like
segment everything.
Yeah, it just drives me nuts. And I've met so many different people who have so many different explanations of what they describe themselves and what their sexuality is. It's like, I don't like that people have to be boxed into these certain things. Because for me, some people go, oh, well, you're gay. Some people say I'm bi. Some people say I'm pan. Some people say I'm sexually fluid. I'm like, I didn't come out to like put labels on things. I came out to help people. Like, if you want to call me gay, I'm gay. You know, I'm not afraid to say that. I have a YouTube channel where I openly like hold hands with my boyfriend and kiss it. Like, I'm not afraid of all that stuff, and it's not a priority. So that's where the only kind of negative part came. And again, that wasn't everybody. It was just like a small.
So was that a surprise to you to get that from that side?
Yes, that was the only, I want to say, disappointing part. Other than that,
yeah, I would think they'd be more supportive.
Yeah, it was a ton of support.
I thought you were going to say there were a lot of like straight people giving you shit about
it. No. No, everybody was like, oh, good for you. Yeah. YouTube is where we'll get the like
keyboard warriors.
Yeah. For every, I want to say, 300 good comments, we'll get one that's just like, I wouldn't even read it to somebody else. It's bad. Like, how could you say it to another human being? It's.
Be a dick. No reason. Whatever.
But that's the only part.
Now, do you guys go through? How many of the comments do you guys actually go through and read on the channel, especially with 55,000 subscribers?
Well, I turned my notifications off because they got to the point where it was just ridiculous. But if I log on and they give me the notification once I sign in, I'll read those comments. I'll try to like respond to a lot of them, just so we can have like fan engagement. So I guess you can say that I do read most of them, except for the How We Met video, because there's just too many on that to kind of go through, and it's a mix of people, of LGBT, of heterosexual, of religious, and it just gets it's one big melting pot of.
So when you came out, how was the parent situation? How'd they take it? And
Good question.
Did you have siblings too?
I'm an only child, so
Nice.
my mom actually called me out on it because I had a friend who was going through something similar, so we kind of helped each other out in that aspect, and I happened to be watching TV with her, and she was like, "Aunt, what kind of friendship do you have with so-and-so?" I was like, "Oh, he's just a close friend, blah, 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 best friend." And she's like, "Yeah." So I went to the bathroom, I was like, "Oh, God, she knows, I'll just tell her." And then I told her, and she was like, "Why, was that so hard?" I was like, "Yes." But she was cool with it, and then I told my dad, kind of during an emotional moment when he was like really sick, and we were kind of having like a heart-to-heart, and I just told him there, and he had the same reactions, like, you could have told me, you could tell me anything.
That's
So
good.
my parents are always
Relationship, yeah.
supportive of literally everything that I've done, from school-wise to baseball. They're always traveling to all my shows, wrestling, even though in the beginning my mom was like, but if the show is within 50, 60 miles of home, they're at every single one of them. She's filming them so I can do my own tape study. So
That's pretty great.
they're the true 5-tool players. The 5-tool parents.
Wow.
Yeah.
Gotta get them shirts.
Yeah.
Gotta make some shirts for that. No, that's pretty great to have parents like that, though. Like, not so many people that I know that were gay or lesbian or whatever grew up like that, so that's pretty lucky for you.
Yeah, I'm in a very good situation. And that kind of, I think that's the hardest part, is because when you are trying to, like, you can't help everybody. And when people log into, when people log into YouTube, sometimes they see Michael and I, and we live in such a, I guess, non-judgmental area where we're kind of free to just be ourselves and not have to worry about the things that other people have to do in different countries or different parts of the world. And I don't know sometimes what to say to these people, because I can't say, just be yourself. Right. You can't say that, because if they do that and they walk out the door and something happens to them, like, obviously I would never know, but it's really hard.
right.
And I always struggle to figure out what would be the best advice for them, and I haven't found it yet. So I'm just hoping that us just being ourselves on camera is enough to give those people hope that someday their situation may be able to change and they can, I guess, have that for themselves.
Do you ever do any, like, youth mentoring, like, things like that for LGBT or anything?
I haven't yet, but that's on the agenda. Michael and I did do a little thing with Monica Lewinsky for her anti-bullying campaign, Click with Compassion, because we started noticing we had a little influx of, like I said before, like the YouTube negative comments. And then her campaign manager reached out to us, and we did a little collaboration with them. But I think that's been the extent of, like, the anti-bullying stuff that we do. But we do want to make a conscious effort, once we have the time, to, like, go to, like, shelters and help out where we can. And actually, once I get the shirts reprinted, I have a Pride version of this, where I'm gonna donate 25% of the proceeds to the LGBT Center of New York City, and hopefully that little chunk of money, if it is a chunk of money, will help them out.
And they can get those shirts.
Well, you can get the Pride tee at prowrestlingtees.com/BowensOfficial.
Nice.
And help a good cause.
So goals for 2019 and beyond.
I haven't written them down yet because I need to finish out 2018.
Any goals in 2018 that you haven't accomplished yet?
I have one that I have not accomplished, and that was I wanted to land my first TV speaking role, which I almost did twice. And I found out it would have been, what was it, Daredevil on Netflix, which was very disappointing. But I still got, 2 months left to try and get it done?
This is going to air in next year anyway, so.
I actually have a friend on the road.
Okay, then.
So, you got into modeling and acting.
Correct.
How did that evolve from pro wrestling, or how did that evolve just naturally in your life?
Crazy story.
Not a crazy story,
Was it
but
one of those mall people?
Was it one of the hoo-hoos?
The mall people?
People that come up to you at the mall?
Oh,
like,
no, no,
have you ever
no.
thought about modeling?
Hey, pay us $500 and we'll give you headshots, and then we'll never call you.
It actually came from me breaking a social media rule of not friend requesting somebody that you don't know, because apparently that's frowned upon. I don't know.
Rob.
He's not here, so he can name drop, but Rob.
There was a
I'm friends with him yet?
there was a dude in the gym who I'd be like, hey, what's up? And that's it, like in passing, maybe like once or twice. And he came up under people you may know. So I was like, yeah, is this weird? I was like, screw it, I know him, I guess. So I hit add friend, and it so happened to be that he was signed with a modeling agency called Silver Models in New York City. And at the time, a friend request shows up on like everybody's news feed, and that showed up on the owner's news feed, who then saw my photo, contacted me, and then the next week I was signed.
Did you have like a headshot photo? Like, what was it?
I think it was just my wrestling photos he saw, just I guess maybe the physique, I don't know. He liked something, and then I got signed, and I really didn't do much in the beginning. I did a shoot for Under Armour amateur wrestling singlets, which I think they still use for their catalogs. And then I had the tryout, and then after that I sent them a whole email. I was like, listen, I haven't taken advantage of this opportunity. I can make you money. I can make myself money. There's so many things I want to achieve. Let's really sit down and put a meeting together and see how we can tackle this. And then just went from there. Started doing more castings and landing, I guess, jobs.
What did I see a commercial of you doing, like a pizza commercial?
Yes, so the first one I did was Optima Online, then I did Lunchables, then one for the NFL, and then Domino's.
I gotta ask, like, do you get samples? Like, is it like free Domino's for life type of thing? That's bullshit.
I wish.
Get to walk into a Domino's and go, I was in the commercial. I'll take my free pie now.
I haven't tried that yet, and I probably should.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Can we film it if you do it?
Sure.
Like, we will.
That'd be great content for the channel.
I'd be more excited for the Lunchables. I don't know, that's just me.
Well, honestly, they can...
How many heathens do we hire for Go Pro Wrestling?
You would want Lunchables for life? Are you joking me?
They can keep that as long as they keep giving me paychecks.
Yeah.
Well, you get like
Royalties.
money all the, what? Fuck. So is that like what your full-time job is, like modeling, acting, whatever?
In 2018, yes. Will it keep running in 2019? I don't know. So now I have to kind of figure out what to do. And that's the problem with being an independent contractor in both professions, with wrestling and in acting, modeling. It's just, there's no consistency. Sometimes there is, if you're lucky. Other times it's just, you're praying a call comes in like, hey, I've got this casting for you, or you're self-submitting for things, so I have to book something. Although, I almost landed a National Visa commercial and Hulu commercial, but then I found out in both instances I was an inch too short.
The fuck?
Wow.
Apparently height is that specific in the acting world that I was actually helping out at Evolve, and I was sitting ringside, like helping out doing things, and my agent was frantically calling me. He was like, you're going to Chicago tomorrow, they love you, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, yes, more money. And then 30 minutes later he called, he was like, I'm sorry, like, they loved everything about you, but you were just an inch too short. So
Seems like a problem a lot of people have.
It's like, what?
Nice.
So,
I was going to go there before, but
Nice. That was good. Yeah,
So, yeah, that's a
just
thing.
Put 6 foot on your resume, man. Like, who's gonna know? Just wear a little Well, they have those
The
little
lifts?
the lift shoes, man. It'll be fine.
Kayfabe, I bought those. For all castings, I have like the 2-inch lift to get a little bit higher. Because that would have, I probably wouldn't have worked for like 2 years.
If
That's
they were
how much
hiring
money
6'7"
this
people,
thing
I would gladly buy those. So. How you doing?
Well, with your height, they'd probably be interested in you. They always need people like Kevin Matthews. He got he signed with my agency
Who
and
do you know?
my
BMG?
BMG. Oh yeah, trade-off. I'll introduce you to my
I
agent.
actually have headshots.
You can show me
Yeah.
the glow lady.
I have headshots. Nice.
They're not good headshots, but they're all right.
Oh, okay.
We'll do real headshots.
I thought they were nice. They're my profile picture. It's alright. With a dick. But yeah, my people will talk to you.
Yeah, we'll talk. We'll
I don't really
talk.
have people, but I'll find some.
We'll still talk. We'll find people to talk to.
Just a big
I mean,
talk.
if you ever need like a 6'5" bodyguard in any of your things.
That's exactly what KM booked in Jack in the Box with Martha Stewart. His first casting, and he booked it national. I
Nice.
think he played during the Super Bowl
Wow.
on the West Coast.
I'll take West Coast though.
Fucking
I don't mind which coast we're on. So we have a segment on our show where we have people have a little bit of fun. You've probably seen it or heard of it at least, where we have you guys do karaoke. So we know how much you enjoy singing because you wrote your own song for Mike, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
And you performed it, and there's even a behind-the-scenes video on YouTube of it.
Yeah, but that was with a lot of help from a nice computer that had nice tuning options.
We
and all
have
these other
auto-tune.
No, we don't use auto-tune here. No auto-tune.
I can't believe you're making me do this.
Backup singers.
But I am the 5-tool player. And I can do anything because I am a wrestling superstar.
Sorry, it's not going to play on there.
Oh.
Behind you.
All right. Well, I'm going to have to turn around for this.
Move over.
I looked out this morning and the sun was gone. I turned on some music to start my day. Then I lost myself in a familiar song. I closed my eyes and I slipped away. It's more than a feeling when I hear that old song they used to play, and I begin dreaming until I see Marianne walk away. I see my Marianne walking away. That's how it's done.
Good with that.
Wow.
Oh, no, keep it going.
Oh, he wants more.
This is a 5-tool performance. So many people have come and gone. Their faces fade as the years go by. As I still recall, ooh, that's the wrong words, as I wander on. As clear as the sun in the summer sky. I hope no one ever sees this.
Oh, there's gonna.
Oh, it's going everywhere.
It's more than a feeling.
More than a feeling.
When I see the wait, keep it going. And I begin dreaming till I see Marianne walk away. I see my Marianne walking away. That's how it's done.
That was fucking sick. I think he's winning.
So,
He's currently
and
winning.
you don't enjoy singing.
I hate singing.
You don't.
Yeah.
You literally just killed it.
I think
I think it was
6-tool
awful.
player now.
No, you just killed it. Because especially after seeing someone like Plasma. You
No, that was
absolutely
fucking-
killed it.
That was amazing.
And this is why. I'm going to make my case for the 5-tool player Anthony Bowens right now. For any promotions out there, because you've been missing out, you've been undervaluing the 5-tool player, because I can do any single goddamn thing you need me to do. You need me to go out and have a 5-star, a 5-tool match, the 5-tool player can do it. If you need me to go out and do media, the 5-tool player can do it. If you need me to go do print, don't worry, I can do it. I've been on the cover of magazines. You need me to do a commercial, do not worry, because I've done 4, both national and international. The 5-tool player can do it all. What about social media? Guess what? I run a successful YouTube channel of over 55,000 subscribers. Other than what? Being the Elite? Who else has that many subscribers and that big of a fan base for you to promote your show for? The 5-tool player can do it all. And let that just sink in, because you guys have been missing out.
I think you forgot one extra thing. My man can sing. He can go out to the ring and fucking sing for you.
You need me to have a
Karaoke.
sing-off? The 5-tool player can come to your show and just sing for you. Just make you happy.
One-on-one with Big Kaz.
One-on-one with Big Cass. Sing along with the 5-tool player
Extra
and Big
Big
Cass.
Cass, too.
Or is that Big C?
Big Kaz.
Oh, Kaz? Is that what it is?
Kaz.
Yeah,
Kaz.
he added
Kaz.
50 pounds, so he had to put the Z's. You know.
Like Taz.
I didn't say that.
I
So,
did.
Anthony, where can everyone find you on social media?
You can find the 5-tool player, Anthony Bowens, on Twitter and Instagram at Bowens_official. On YouTube, if you'd like to follow my wrestling, it's just Anthony Bowens. If you'd like to follow my YouTube channel with my boyfriend, that would be at Michael and Anthony. Please don't request me on Facebook. That's just for family and friends. I'm not being I'm not being a bad person. It's just personal space.
Thank you very much for coming.
Almost cursed.
There are lots of curses.
Thank you very much for coming on the show tonight.
Oh, thank you for having me. This has been fun.
Great time, man.
This is Conversations with a 5-tool player. I'm Noel, our man Big Frank, and our superstar Anthony Bowens. Have a good
5
night.
tools, 1 rule: prove them wrong.